The real entrance to the cave open. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Leading to a narrow industrial catwalk suspended over the abyss. Wow, you imagine that if this was like your site? They
What
just
a
open a door and they're like, "Here we are."
portal to the cave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I walked through, the temperature dropped to a cool chill, and I zipped up my hoodie. And yeah, so that's definitely the case. If you've ever been to a cave, it's usually the same temperature year round. It's quite cool. Like usually, I think at least in the caves I've been in, it's in the lower 60s, upper 60s, and usually not pretty dry. And I think maybe that's why the preservation in caves tends to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Once I walked through, the temperature. Oh, yeah, I already did that. Okay.
Oh,
She zipped up her hoodie.
but it's a trap.
It's a trap. Buttery
It's a
barnacles.
trap. Run.
Well, I think you've already fallen for the trap this time by paying the $10,000.
They got you. Yeah, they got you. Yeah, and then the art students and music students are like, you imagine, like, at least if you're an archaeology student, I imagine you kind of know what you're getting into. But if
Right.
you're just a music or art student, they
Especially if you're
probably have
not
no idea.
remotely outdoorsy, like this would be
Oh, yeah.
miserable, and the archaeology would not be well done.
But you know what? It's going to make for a great storyline, I'm sure, at some
Yes,
point.
yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Augustine directed students to various locations while Sherry carefully slipped by and I followed. The cave opened up farther in with numerous stalactites and stalagmites everywhere. The catwalk railing disappeared where the ladders connected, and when it branched off into other segments of the cave. This would be a really cool site to work at,
No
wouldn't
kidding.
it? Sherry, where will I dig? Sherry leaned over the railing and pointed to one of the deeper parts.
You'll be digging here. It's a 125,000-year-old layer, the very same one where they discovered the Neanderthal mandible. Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Oh, quick Neanderthal news. It was just announced that they discovered Neanderthal remains in Italy.
Oh, cool.
So if you're interested in that, do a quick search for that. It should come up. I think it was only like in the last week I saw articles on it. So
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to maybe we'll post that when we put this on our YouTube channel. We can post a link to that article. Yeah, that's awesome. What? I'll be digging in such an important place already. I leave this girl who's never probably dug before.
She's probably
go
about
at it, kid.
she's probably about the best though. Is she's actually an archaeology student as far as we
That's
know.
true. Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe if she's now she says she's a junior, so she's just an undergrad, or is she a grad
Definitely.
student?
Undergrad.
Yeah, undergrad. So still, it's like, I guess they have to go through undergrads. Will have to go through some field schools.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least I would put like I mean, what you'd think to put like at least an experienced grad student doing something like
Yeah.
that?
Hopefully they're closely monitored.
Yeah. Yeah, so far I've only seen Sherry and Augustine, but maybe there's some kind of supervisor other than those two. Who knows?
Yeah. Can you imagine two people trying to wrangle 20 brand new students at a field school?
And especially too that this girl like doesn't even really speak French,
Right.
and like she didn't really read all the stuff she was supposed to read, and they're just like, oh, okay, here you go.
And nobody knows what they're looking at. You know, you think, oh, an artifact, that's easy to spot. But also we have features we've tried to find which can be just stains in the dirt. And unless you know what you're looking for, it can be very hard to spot those.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, we have Buttery Barnacles on Stream Chat says it's a trap.
Yeah.
you might be right. It is a trap.
Yes.
All right. Despite my nerves, I felt giddy inside.
I would too. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is cool.
Really cool.
Sherry climbed down the ladder, and I trailed behind her. At the bottom of the ladder was another catwalk positioned exactly in the middle. Now that my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I noticed there were strings and cords hung everywhere in a specific pattern with notes nailed into the soil.
Ooh,
Will they show us?
okay.
Sherry brought me to the end of the catwalk where there was yet another ladder, but this time much shorter. Wow, there's a lot of like ladders and catwalks. in this site.
You'll be digging on the right side here.
Oh, there we go. They do show us something.
Nice.
Okay, this is interesting. There's a bottle of water. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Some lights. And looks like they've already excavated down quite a bit through some of these layers. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You would
And
think though, like
and
the
this isn't a light or new structure. They've got this platform with ladder leaning against it.
Yeah.
That's yeah, they've got quite an operation, I think.
Yeah, this is probably like a field school that they've had for years and years and years at this particular location. Here was a rather cozy looking pit, a perfectly dug out square. Okay, so here we go. That's a good thing to talk about. 2 to 3 people could probably move around freely in this space. It was almost right under the main catwalk higher up too. Okay, so why do archaeologists dig in like square holes?
Because
Why is
people lived in square holes.
that? Now we know. Thanks,
Yep,
Tristan.
there you go. Go ahead.
Uh, b- because of mapping, essentially, it's very usually do things on like a grid system. So having exact measurements, and if you want to open the square next to it, and all of that, it's all for mapping and placement units, essentially. So it gives you a nice little area to work in without chasing features and artifacts throughout. It's more controlled.
And it's
Right.
also about knowing exactly how much soil, like you say, you've dug 10 centimeters in a 1 by 1 unit, you know exactly how much soil that is. So that's also why we do it so like that. Easier than
Right.
circles or hexagons.
Yeah.
Or figure eights. I think
Right.
you guys should dig in figure eights.
Yeah.
I think
I
also
think you tried that on Archaeology X, actually.
I did. Yeah, I did.
it didn't work out.
No.
If you dig in like a hexagon, it would be difficult because you're supposed to like keep your walls straight, and
Yeah.
that's just so many walls.
That's so many
and
walls.
But if you can do that, you've mastered the art
Yeah,
of
yeah.
uh, that's how you get your PhD. Actually, you have to dig a hexagon
corners.
unit. All right, let's go to the next one. We probably can wrap it up after this next one.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, Sherry.
This is your car, D32, maybe
Is it-
unit.
Might be
Where?
Yeah, I guess it's in French, right? Okay, she says. Oh, she's gonna car D32.
It's helpful that Melissa knows about as much of this stuff as we do, about
Yeah, it
the
is.
French at least.
Right.
Car means square. Everything is separated into a grid system, which we mentioned. Starting from the entrance of the cave, the uppermost left to right, it goes A1, B1, and so forth.
Makes sense to me. Although, as we talk, we could do a hexagon. It'd be a lot more difficult. It explains all the lines dangling from the ceiling too. They're for measuring. Ah, now we know.
Oh, interesting.
Why are they dangling from the ceiling?
Huh.
Correct. Shall we take a closer look? The photographs for this row should be done already.